Hey guys, it's Rebecca Oberstadt, and today what I'm going to be doing is swatching all three of the little mini Zodiac palettes that have come out in the past couple of months. And I've got my always off makeup cloth here to take any swatches off. Half of it is wet, actually like a quarter of it's wet. So I can get swatches off of my hand in between colors, but I'm going to be swatching them all on my arm all at the same time so that you can see all three of the palettes side by side, and then I will be comparing each of the palettes to I'll be doing like the Aries and then comparing it to the other three Zodiac palettes that are the minis like this, as well as the big palettes. So look forward to those videos coming soon. Hopefully you guys like these swatch videos. I know some people have told me that they like them. Some people have said that they don't. I guess it's all in personal preference. So I'm not going to be talking through this part. I'm just going to go ahead and swatch them on my arm, and then we'll talk about what shades might be comparable and what shades most likely are not after I get done. Okay, so in the middle of recording the swatch video, I had my lawyer's office call me. They're working on an SSI case for me because, for those of you that know, I have applied for SSI before, and the last lawyer that handled my case royally screwed it up. So I ended up having to take that phone call, which is probably a good thing that I wasn't planning on talking through the swatches of these because I'm going to have to cut all that out because I was on the phone with my lawyer. Okay, so here we have the Aries palette, the Taurus, and then the Gemini. I ran out of arm room and I didn't want to put them up here because, you know, my arm is a little bit more crinkly up there. So looking at the shades, and I'll go ahead and open all of these bad boys up so that you can see what they look like. The only shades that I'm seeing that look somewhat similar, you have this shade here, which is this one in this palette, and this shade here, which is this one in the Gemini palette, that are close, and then this one here, which is this one. This one and this one are very similar. This one has more red to it, where this one's more of a neutral, and this one has even more of a red. It's more of a deeper brown than the other two. So those are similar shades. Then you have this like orangey shade here, and then you have this orangey shade here, which looks more salmon in the pan. And they are close, but they are not the same shade. This one is a little bit more richer in like more like a tangerine orange, where this one is more of a pinky salmon shade. Then getting into some of the shimmers. This is the first shade out of the Aries palette, which is here. This is the center shade out of the Taurus palette. They're kind of similar. This one has more of like a peachy pink shifting. It does have the yellow undertone shift like this does. And then you have this shade here, which is the center shade from this one. This actually has a little bit more green in it. And then you have this shade here, which is kind of similar to the center shade. This is more of a cream base, where this one is more of a icy white with a yellowish green shift. So those two are in the same palette, and they're very similar. Those are from the Taurus palette. I think if you mixed like this shade and this shade, you could get something close to this, but it's still going to be a little bit dark. You'd have to probably mix like 3/4 of this to like 1/4 of this in order to get something similar. And I will show you that. Let me go ahead and do that. I will grab this, and I'll grab this. And I'm going to put the darker of the two shades down first, and then I'm going to mix this one over it. And I'm going to grab just a little bit more of that gold shade. This definitely still looks more yellow than this. This looks more like a champagne color when you mix these two shades together. So you can get something close to the center shade of this one, but it's not going to be the same. Another thing that was kind of similar was the shimmer shade in this one, the shimmer shade in this one, the shimmer shade in this one. These two look close enough. This one is more of a burgundy with a gold shift. This one has more of like a brick reddish brown undertone to it with a green shift. And then this one is more of a salmon red. So it's kind of like a cherry red and a salmon shade mixed, and it has gold in it as well. So there are a couple of shades that are similar. I think if you mixed the center shade from this one and probably the first shade, you could get something close to this. And I will go ahead, let me clean my fingers off, and I will do that. All right, so I'm gonna grab the first shade of the Aries palette and the center shade from there, and we're gonna try and make a shade close to this. So I'm gonna put the center shade down and then put this one over it, and then kind of work the two together. And this actually looks more kind of like a rose gold kind of shade than this one. This one's definitely a lot more red. And then of course these two greens, one's an olive, one's more like a hunter green. So there are shades that look similar in the pan, but then when you swatch them on the skin, the undertones are different, and that is what I want to stress in this is that the shades are different. They're not the same. So what I'll be doing next on my other clean arm is I will be taking this palette and then I will be comparing it to the other 3 little ones. Now I did notice, looking at, like, just in general, when I was looking at the Taurus palette, when you look at some of the other shades, you're going to have this shade here that's going to be kind of similar to the brown shades, but they're not the same. So that one only had like one kind of maybe shade. In the Pisces palette, again, you've got the brown shades, but again, the undertones, these are more cool tone, whereas all of these are more warm tone browns. And then this shade is definitely more like a turquoise, whereas that one's more of like a forest green. So there's like the center shade in this one that could be similar to some of the other colors. And then if you take the very last one that I have, which is the Capricorn, there was a couple of shades that look like it would be similar to this one, because these are cool tone browns, but you've got this one here that looks more warm toned, but it's kind of tricky. It looks warm toned in the pan, but it's not. It's a cool tone brown. So I will be comparing each of these individual palettes to the other mini Zodiacs, as well as the other 2 Zodiac palettes, so that you guys can see full comparisons of each individual palette compared to not only the other little mini Zodiac palettes, but also with the 2 big palettes, to see, okay, if I already have the 2 big palettes, do I need the little one? If I already have the first 3 that they came out with, and I have one of the big ones, do I need one of these? That's why I do these breakdown videos, so that you guys have more information, that you guys can see what is comparable and what isn't comparable, so that you can make an educated decision on what you want to spend your money on. I love these little palettes. I only had one issue with any of these 3 palettes, and it was with this yellow shade here. I just edited today the 4 looks 1 palette for this. I have not done looks with the other 2 palettes yet, because this was in my June Shop My Stash. So I will most likely pull one of these little guys for my July Shop My Stash and do like 4 looks with it and whatnot. So hopefully you guys enjoy this video. If you do, give me a thumbs up. Feel free to leave me questions or comments down below. It's all engagement, so it does greatly help out my channel. And let me know if you want to see me compare these to some of my other eyeshadow palettes, because I'm more than willing to do that, because I actually have fun doing these. So I'm Rebecca Oberstadt. I will see you guys in another video very soon. Have a great day or night wherever you are. Bye.